Hey guys, welcome to a special edition of our Q&A. So it's just a bit about me, I actually started the whole immigration thing in 2008. So, nung time na yon, nag-work ako sa Immigration New Zealand. Back then, visa officer pa yung tawag. And yun yung naging start ko. It was in yung Manila office, and then noong time na yun, super daming work, super backlogged sila. There are two of us na pumasok, and we were processing temporary entry. So, ibig sabihin nun, so like work, student, visitor visas. And yun, it's been quite a career. Since then, I actually managed to work dun sa office sa Bangkok. We were doing specialist work then, like ini-import yung work from the India branch into Thailand. Then I was also doing yung they're called expressions of interest para dun sa mga skilled migrant applications para dun sa buong Asia. And then after that, bumalik ako ng Pinas, still working with Immigration New Zealand, and then naging technical advisor ako, so parang supervisor ng mga immigration officer before ako naging immigration manager. So yeah, so it was like this really, it's really colorful history with immigration before ako nag-move dun sa private sector. So yeah, so nung nag-move naman ako, naging student agent ko for a little bit before I got my license. So that's where we are today. So yung Koru is probably about, I think, 8 years na. So, it's been, yung birthday din ng Koru somewhere around June, July. So, parang medyo tumatanda na yung baby ko. And, yeah, so we're gonna talk a bit more about that today.
What made you decide to go into New Zealand specifically?
I don't think I ever really was looking for a career na specific sa New Zealand. It was more lumabas yung opportunity. So, nung time na yun, naghahanap ako ng job. Siguro graduate na ako ng 1 year around that time. So, nag-work muna ako sa family business. Then, naghanap ako ng something na mas similar dun sa inaral ko. So, nung time na yun, may vacancy sa Immigration New Zealand dun sa Manila. Pero, I guess medyo I don't know kung serendipity yung tawag. Kasi, nung time na yun, may kasabay siya actually na opportunity sa IOM, which was yung International Organization for Migration. So, I don't know, maybe the space really chose me. But even before ako actually nag-work for Immigration New Zealand, medyo may relevant background na ako in the sense na yung OJT ko was for an NGO called Community Family Services International. So sila, yung work nila, did involve some aspect of migration in the sense na they dealt with yung tinatawag na internally displaced peoples. So yung mga tao na displaced by conflict. So, yun. Pero in the Philippines, yung focus nila. So, yun. That's why I always tend to think na medyo calling ko talaga sa buhay yung the whole immigration thing. Kasi, yun, the opportunities that came up for me have always been in that space.
How many years did you work for Immigration New Zealand?
I think I was there for 6 years. Hindi ko siya tandang-tanda. It was 2008. 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Yeah. So I was there for, I think, over 6 years.
When you were working there, what were the cases, immigration cases, or what were your jobs and responsibilities?
Oh, so what sort of stuff did I do on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah.
Okay. So when I was an immigration officer, a lot of what I was doing was around temporary visas. So a normal day in my life would basically be doing initial assessments on application. So, bibigay sa amin yung naka-plastic envelope kasi dati, nabutan ko pa yung puro paper-based applications. Tapos pupunta kayo dun sa VIA Center. Dati, hindi pa nga VFS yung provider. So anyway, I digress. Pero darating sa amin yun, naka-plastic envelope, naka-sort yun. And then, titignan namin, like, flip through yung documents, na meet ba nila yung requirements, and then there'll be an assessment around yung risk. So, we'll do yung assessments, and then we'll write up yung cases, and then we'll do different things. So, minsan, we might do verification, or mag-i-interview kami ng mga aplikante. Sometimes, diretsong approve na yon, diretsong decline, depende sa situation. So yun, as an immigration officer, ganon. We all had like full caseloads. But I feel like things really got interesting when I moved to Thailand. Kasi yun, kakaiba yung work doon. I was still an immigration officer, but I was recruited specifically to be for a team that expedited applications. So yun, as in, they were imported from India kasi yung Indian office couldn't expand fast enough kasi may restrictions on offices and that sort of thing, like diplomatic area kasi siya dapat, mga ganon. But anyway, so they would send us a lot of applications and then they would come in through special mail every day. And then kailangan ilabas namin as fast as possible yun. So yung deadline namin for applications for everything was same day. So it was very quick. It was really cool, very interesting. And then yun, parang it was a team that was specifically designed to do that. So a bunch of yung mga kasama ko were actually Kiwis. And then there were some staff din na Thai. So I spent a year there doing that. I also learned to do yung the skilled migrant stuff there. Kasi yun, at the time, hindi pa siya ginagawa actually sa Manila. So yun, I learned to do skilled migrant. And we were doing the assessments for the Asian region.
What year did you get transferred or recruited to the...
If I'm not mistaken, I went to Thailand in 2010 and I was there until 2011. And super interesting time yun kasi kasagsagan yun ng red shirts, yung mga rallies. So, I think, when hindi ako nagkakamali, my first week in Thailand, or my first week in the office sa Thailand, things got a bit hairy for a bit. As in, yung office was part of yung military cordon. So, bawal actually kami pumasok. So, yung work was suspended for a while kasi there was shootings dun sa area na yun. So, there's like stray bullets. So, yun. So, it was a super interesting time. Loved my time there. People dun sa office were excellent and I even learned a bit of Thai. So, yun. Some people might not know that about me, but I do speak a little bit of Thai.
Tapos after nung Thailand, tama ba na sa New Zealand office? No,
I didn't go to the New Zealand office. I returned to Manila. So, yeah. So,
what year was that?
So it was in 2011. I decided to go back home. I actually could have extended my stay in Thailand because I was like on a permanent contract, but I was feeling a bit homesick, so I decided to just go home. And yeah, so I managed to get my old job back. So I did return as an immigration officer. Yeah, so most of the team was the same. There were some new additions, which is fantastic. And then there were a couple of changes as well. Like we had a vacancy for a technical advisor. So that was a position that I did apply for. What is a technical advisor, diba? So yung mga technical advisor, hindi kasi sobrang dami yun in Immigration New Zealand. So like usually in one of the INZ offices, lalo na kung offshore, you might just have one or maybe two of them. Depende sa dami ng tao sa loob ng branch. Pero yung job kasi nila, para siyang supervisor ng mga immigration officer. Pero kaya siya technical advisor is because kung meron silang policy questions, yung technical advisor is yung parang specialist. So, they tend to have a bit more discretion. So they get to make calls na an immigration officer might not have the powers to make. But they also have a bunch of knowledge na the the ordinary immigration officer might not have.
What year did you decide to go from working with Immigration New Zealand to transferring or transitioning to the private sector?
Okay. So by the time that I did make the leap, I was actually working as an immigration manager for INZ. So yun, ano na yun, people management na talaga yun. Like, yung mga performance reviews, ganyan. And also, on the case side is like yun, parang next level siya dun sa TA na we had higher levels of discretion. We were dealing with complaints, reconsideration requests, that sort of thing. But because I was already at that level na immigration manager ako, wala na kasi akong pupuntahan in terms of career growth kasi the next level done requires you to be a New Zealand citizen. And then laterally, medyo mahirap din mag-move kasi like the other opportunities kung saan merong mga immigration managers din in the region, minsan meron siyang citizenship requirements din. So let's say, for example, if I was considering a role in the China branch, I would have to be either a Chinese citizen or a New Zealand citizen kasi you otherwise couldn't get a visa. So there was a bit of a ceiling in terms of yung career progression dun sa Immigration New Zealand without being a citizen. Which is fine, understandable kasi security clearances and stuff. So it's completely, it's completely understandable and appropriate. But by then, I'd already been with INZ for about 6 years. And there was also a bit of a sense na siguro maybe it was a bit time for a change kasi iba din pag nandun ka sa regulation na side. So, what you are looking at is ano yung requirements ng policy, interest ng New Zealand. Hindi siya interest ng applicant yung tinitingnan. So, I decided to make a bit of a career change. Also, namatay actually yung dad ko that time. So, I personally needed some change in my life. So, nag-resign ako. I took a few months off. And then I started my own practice. So the thing about having your own practice in the immigration space is it's completely different from the regulation side. Kasi ang tinitingnan mo ngayon is yung interest ng migrante. Hindi mo tinitingnan yung interest ni New Zealand. Syempre, you still need to get some alignment there kasi otherwise hindi ma-approve yung application. But at the end of the day, advocate ka. And so the role is very different. And I do like that about the job. So, medyo, kasi nakakapanghinayang with all those years of experience tapos hindi mo siya gagamitin. And it was a good time to put it to use for people, for individuals. Kasi the thing then is when you've worked with Immigration New Zealand and yun, if we've been in yung roles that I've been, na both yung visa processing and yung management, the sad reality is people are numbers. There's the fact na there are targets and quotas to be met, and parang it's really less about the individual and it's more about just getting decisions out. So in becoming an advisor, dun ko na appreciate yung the very human side of immigration and being able to work through problems with yung clients. So that really brings me to why I became a licensed advisor. Kasi, we probably know, or maybe you don't know, na in New Zealand, required yung licensing to be able to provide immigration advice kahit nasa labas ka ng bansa. And I found myself in a situation na ang dami-dami kong alam about the immigration system, pero hindi ko siya magamit or hindi ko siya ma-share dun sa applicant. So in my head, I knew exactly what to do, but hindi ko siya pwedeng i-apply kasi yung legal framework prevented me from doing it. So, there was a stand-down period. There's a 1-year stand-down period. So, pag nanggaling kang immigration, hindi ka pwede magpalisensya agad-agad. So, yun, nagpalipas ako ng stand-down. I took the required course and then I got my license.
So, to reiterate on yung timeline of events, work with INZ for 6 years.
Yeah.
Tapos, yung stand-down period, when was Koru conceived? During yung pag-aral mo? Or after?
It was before.
Oh, after.
So, the stand-down is only for, licensing. But I didn't require a license to operate as a student agent. So Koru was actually in operation a few months after I left immigration. So I was doing student work, which doesn't require a license. It was an exempt category. And so I was doing that. Spent the stand down as an agent and stuff. And then I did the course. So I think I did the program in 2016 because I got my license in 2017. So we basically process most types of visas, right? So we do visitor visas, student, work, residence. A lot of what we do is around relationship-based visas. So yung mga family visas. So ano ba yun? Like, there are the ones na, kunwari, nagkita sila online, nag-start yung relationship sa internet, and then, like, how do you bring yung partner nila to New Zealand? We also do quite a bit around the older children. So, minsan kasi mas complicated na yun if you're trying to get residence for yung anak niya na mga 20 plus. So we do quite a bit of that. We do help students. So we also work as an education agent. So there are a bunch of schools na we work with and we represent. So pinaprocess din namin yung admissions. And I guess the thing that's pretty special about having a licensed advisor do that for you is, apart from knowing na okay yung outcome mo for the student visa, is we also plan yung pathways for like post-study and also migration. We test eligibility for migration. So, and we also advise on the different like residence categories. So for a lot of people, that's been super helpful kasi over the past couple of years, nagbago yung residence options ng mga tao. So, kind of like navigating through all of that change has been super helpful for them. For yung mga nakakakuha ng job offers, yung mga direct hires, we also process work visas for them. We do straight to residence for some people na qualified. We also do yun, yung family members ng mga work visa holders. So, mga partner, dependent kids. So, yun. Usually kasi pag mga school age na, we'll help sort them out para they get a free New Zealand education. Siguro the juicier parts of my job yung mga medyo mas stressful na yun pag ikaw yung nasa posisyon na yun kasi yun yung mga nasulatan na kayo ng immigration. So, syempre, by that time, nagpapanik na kayo. So, yun, all in a day's work for us. Can't really go into the specifics of like what sort of problems we deal with, but yun, it'll be things na, kunwari, hindi na naniniwala si immigration na mag-partner talaga kayo. Or si immigration, they don't consider yung living together ninyo as living together. It might be a case na hindi rin naniniwala si immigration na dependent pa yung anak ninyo. Or siguro yung pinaka-common is yung nagkamali dun sa unang application. So let's say, for example, merong hindi na-declare or merong, sobrang common yung mga mali, yung i-declare yung partnership status, tapos pag trinay nyo kunin yung asawa ninyo, nagkakaproblema, or work experience, may issue around yung mga unang sinabit nyo sa immigration. So those are like the most common ones. Like mistakes around declaring yung mga previous na declined application sa ibang bansa. So let's say for example, na-decline na kayo sa Australia tapos hindi nyo sinabi sa INZ. So that's a lot of what we have to deal with. And yun, so ano siya, it's really taking hold of a stressful situation and making sure that you guys are on the right path and doing the right stuff.
So Koru's 8 years old today. Or parang...
Yeah, I think it's, it's 8 years old already. Koru's 8. 8? Imagine that. Like, I'd have a little child that's 8 years old.
How has your journey been so far as a private practitioner?
As a private practitioner, enjoyable yung work. I do like that. I like the fact na siguro what I like is the challenging sort of work. So a lot of what I do has to deal with people who actually come into problems with their visas. So I enjoy that. I enjoy yung relationships ko with the applicants. Like I actually get to know them quite well. Lalo na the family-based applications, diba? Kasi nakikita mo yung history ng relationship. Super fun. Sobrang ganda ng yung sobrang nakaka-warm ng puso yung mga love story ng iba. So, super enjoyable yun. Siguro, what I would say is, it's a very rewarding career. Kasi, like lately, nakakausap ko yung some of the first few clients that we had. Mga dumating doon, like they were exploring opportunities, nag-student muna sila. And then now, like yung isa, kabarkada ko kasi from college yun, and now he's established his own business in New Zealand, which is doing really, really well. They're trying to parang there's somebody who's trying to buy him out of yung company, so super good. The other one naman I talked to recently, sila, they use a student visa para makapag-shift siya ng career. And yun, she told me about how they just bought I don't know if they just bought their house, but they bought their house na in Auckland. So, yun, super, super iba yung trajectory ng buhay nila kasi nag New Zealand sila. And I really find that super rewarding. One of my favorite parts is pag nakikita ko yung mga anak nila lumalaki. Kasi, yun, parang iba talagang infant na dumating ng New Zealand. Tapos nakikita mo, like, nag-enjoy sila. They're getting really integrated. And nagiging Kiwis talaga sila growing up. With the accent and everything. Sobrang adorable. So, I really love seeing what happens to them. Kasi yun, parang, I guess yun yung isang major difference din, like being part of immigration New Zealand versus being a private practitioner. Kasi pag nasa immigration New Zealand ka, you never get any follow-up. Like ano na nangyari dun sa applicant mo, diba? Kasi parang wala naman silang way to contact you. It's inappropriate for you to contact them. So you never really see what goes on in yung life nila. But pag nandun ka sa private practice, sobrang na-reap mo yung benefit of yung work. Kasi nakikita mo ano nangyayari dun sa careers nila, nakikita mo yung family life nila, nakikita mo yung pag-asenso nila. So, sobrang rewarding talaga. I think that's maybe the best part of being an immigration advisor. It's really being able to help people change yung lives nila. Siguro like just on the same vein, I'll be like one of my favorite situations or like one of my favorite outcomes was we had actually helped a client na they were thinking about moving to New Zealand and nahanap nila kami on YouTube. And we gave them a bit of advice on how to start the process, looking for a job. And then they actually did get a job. So this is in the healthcare sector. did get a job. They managed to benefit from all of the pandemic-related visas. And then, yung ultimate outcome nun is siguro magto 2 decades na silang hindi magkasama ng family kasi OFW. And because of how things panned out, they finally get to both live in New Zealand. Silang mag-asawa and the kids. So yun, that is like one of my absolute favorite outcomes. Na the work is really meaningful. What have you learned over 15 years in immigration? The first thing I can think of is that immigration, um, it happens in cycles, right? The rules tend to relax and contract over years. Pero yung problem lang dun is the cycles can come over several years. So, syempre, dahil 15 years ko na itong naggawa, nakikita ko, like, may times na, lumuluwag, humihigpit siya. But, kung binibase mo yung life decisions mo on that, you really should be making most of the opportunities when they arrive. Kasi, minsan, yung pagluwag takes like, 7 years? So, medyo masyado maraming time na yung lumipas. So, ayun, that's like one of the reasons why personally I get professional advice for certain things. That's number one. Immigration exists in cycles. The second thing is if you're a migrant and you want some change, a lot of it has to do with timing and seizing opportunities. So, personally, because I get asked that question a lot, diba? Parang, why am I based in the Philippines? This and that. It's because I like living in the Philippines. Number one, it's like so much warmer here kaysa sa New Zealand. Pero, yeah, I think when you're doing okay where you are, it has to be worth what it costs moving to the place. Because it's not just money. Diba? Siyempre, mag-change yung lifestyle mo. And when your life, like, nag-align yung what you are looking for in the place that you're moving to. So whether it's New Zealand, Australia, it might be the States or Europe. When that alignment happens, you should really, that's the time to jump. Kasi pagka medyo half-hearted ka about it, you're not really gonna be so invested in the decision. Pero yun, pag swak lahat, diba? It's like, go time. So, I guess if you're finding yourself na lumalapit na nga yung nagla-line up na lahat ng factors, dapat prepared ka to make the leap. Sige. The third thing, maybe key lesson over the past 15 years is that a lot of migrants tend to be concerned or like medyo iwas sila na kumuha ng professional advice. Daming dahilan. Siguro takot dun sa cost or yung iba takot din dun sa advice na ibibigay, diba? Kasi kung hindi okay yung advice or like hindi yung gusto mo yung advice, medyo nakakatakot nga yun na news, diba? Lalo na kung like kunwari residents, sasabihin sa'yo hindi ka qualified. So, I think yun yung isang mindset that migrants should probably change na just like being avoidant of getting professional help. Kasi number one, kung cost yung pinag-uusapan, there are actually a lot of licensed advisors that do free initial consultations. Siyempre, mag-vary yung quality of advice that you get based on yung experience nila, how much they're willing to share with you. But then, especially if you're onshore, you might have some options for getting advice free. Lalo na sa mga community law centers. So, they might not be able to help you with everything. Like, they probably won't be able to lodge your application. Yung ganung level, you probably won't be able to get for free. But, there are a lot of professionals that are willing to help migrants. So, don't be afraid to at least ask. Kasi, diba, nothing ventured, nothing gained. Pero, Kasi yung sobrang anxious ka, tapos meron naman palang makakatulong sa'yo, it's better to at least ask. One of the things I've observed over the 15 years is now more than ever, mahirap mag-research dahil sa dami ng sources of information. Lalo na yung mga online groups and threads. Masasabi ko doon is a lot of the information there can be unhelpful. There's a lot of good information, but there's also a lot of bad information. So, syempre, take it with a grain of salt. Mag-ingat na lang kayo. Kasi, syempre, yung kakilala mo, yung nag-message online, nagpo-post online, syempre, wala ka namang magagawa if palpak yung advice nila, di ba? So, yun. There's good, there's bad. Be discerning. Yun yung about online advice. Maraming salamat po sa inyong pagdalo. Thank you for watching our video. I really am grateful. Sobrang malaki yung pasasalamat ko sa mga katulad ninyong migrante. Yun yung dahilan kung bakit namin ginagawa yung ginagawa namin. And why we try hard to just, continue growing our business. We are in a very special position na yung experiences nyo enrich our lives, and we're really glad na we are able to work in a space na yun, parang we change lives, we change yung takbo ng buhay ng mga tao for the better. So really blessed with the work that we do and the people that we get to meet through. So we hope that if we haven't been in touch with you yet, you are looking at migrating. Sana mag-reach out po kayo sa amin. We really hope to be part of your journey. But yeah, in the meantime, I just really want to say thank you. And hope that you guys subscribe and that we see you again for the next video. Bye!